and then you just see him cutting something, but we can't see it because in the video you only see her from like the waist down. Again, she was hanging upside down. So you see him cutting something, and then you see him going to the kitchen. Then you see him cooking that something, and then you see him putting that something on that plate that they just ate for this last game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is twisted.
Oh, come on, man. You can do better than that. Smack your goddamn daddy.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of There's a Lesson Here Somewhere, where we dive into TV shows and films that are published on Tubi. We'll explore the good, the bad, and find all the lessons in between. I'm your host, Manji, and for today's episode, we're going to be getting into the thriller Soulmates. Now, if you missed the previous episode, please be sure to check it out. We went over the animation Big Bruh, which was very insightful and hilarious. Shout out to Killer Mike. If you haven't gotten a chance to check out Soulmates yet, feel free to give this podcast a pause, check it out, and then come join us for the conversation, or join us for this conversation. And if this movie sounds like something you'll like, go ahead and watch it afterwards. Y'all, please forgive my voice this episode. This is like day one with me kind of feeling back to normal after feeling very sickly for the past week. I just want to say the last time I was this sick was right before COVID. But let's get into this episode. So, Soulmates, of course, is available for free on Tubi, and it's only an hour and a half. So, we only got an hour and a half to get the whole storyline up in here, and Soulmates didn't waste any time, which I appreciate it. So, we got right to business. The film starts with a woman waking up in a bed, and she's chained to a man. And the first thing she does is puke. So, already I'm in tune because what is going on? So she's confused, I'm confused, and she did what any sane woman would do, and that's find a weapon because she's chained to a man. And so she breaks a lamp, and she's like holding that as her protection for the moment until she figure out what is going on. So eventually the man wakes up and he's confused as well, but she is set on him being the reason for her being there. So she still is like, why am I here? Let me go home, like begging him to go home, but he's trying to let her know that, hey, I was kidnapped too, and I don't know what the fuck is going on either. So eventually the woman calms down and we learn their names. So the guy name is Jason and the woman name is Allison. They find like a business like card that says soulmates on it. So now we getting somewhere. We kind of getting some clues as to what is going on here. So after they found this like soulmates business card, they leave the room in which they enter right into like this long, wet hallway with like plenty of doors. All of the doors were locked. So they walk down the hallway, they make it to the door that was literally on the opposite end, and they use the soulmates card to open it, and thankfully it unlocked. Once they entered this room, it was like a large TV screen and then a smaller tablet with the big old sign that says touch here. So of course they touch there and this man pops up on the screen and he's welcoming them to soulmates, and he's saying that the one is just one swipe away. So the guy, he's going on about this dating app Soulmates, and then they share a video of Allison from way back when she was in college from years ago, a video that she sent to match.com. And she also mentioned that she didn't even post the entire video to on the website on Match. So the fact that Soulmates had it was a little bit peculiar. And then Jason, there was like a video which kind of looked like home footage. It looked like security footage. Like I'm not sure how this Soulmates would have gotten this video, but it's a video of him speaking with like another guy, probably like a friend, and he's just saying how he wants to be in a relationship. So I guess this is Soulmates proof for them to like let them know that, hey, I'm actually doing you a favor. You both been seeking soulmates, and I'm here placing you with your soulmate. You're welcome. Once they got through the video, the lights come on and they see a whole bunch of photos of themselves just on all the walls, covering all the walls, and photos from like other people's phones, like photos of them throughout the years. So these aren't just like recent photos, like Soulmate's been watching them for a very long time. And then eventually some audio starts playing, so they start to hear each other's voices and their own voice, of course. So they're really kind of just like freaking out and trying to figure out what is going on. So now the tablet changes screens and it goes to a terms of service and it's telling them to accept it. And the guy on the screen tells them, like, he says something of the nature, like, the walls are closing in, so you should accept it or something. So they had to kind of put two and two together to realize that they have to accept the terms at the same time, using their finger. So thankfully, they figured it out in time because the walls were literally closing in on them. So if they didn't press it, then I'm assuming they would have been squished. After they accepted the terms, the door opens again for them, in which they leaves and they enter another room. And in this room, they're showing videos of them. So it's like obvious that they've been followed for years now because it's videos from years ago as well as recent videos. So this is very scary for both Allison and Jason. So while they're like trying to see all of what soulmates know about them, these curtains raise and it's this guy, he's tied, he's gagged, and he's hanging over like this large meat grinder. This movie is like Saw meets Love is Blind. And I say that because now it's time to play a game. So, in order to save this man who is hanging over this meat grinder, these two people who are strangers and woke up in a bed just some minutes ago have to answer 5 questions about each other correctly in order to save this guy. So they were told, via the instructions on like screens and papers to sit down, and then the screen popped up and asked them their first question. The first question, Jason asked Allison, what month was he born? Of course, they don't know the rules because they don't know anything that's going on. So he tries to give her a hint. He says Christmas, and you hear like a So now we know that that's not allowed. But thankfully, Allison still answered the question, so they still got a point for it. So they got all the questions right down to the last question. The fifth question was Jason asking Allison, how much was he worth? So he was trying to help her because again they don't know each other. So he was trying to signal to her like, and he shows her a 3 and a 5 with his fingers. So Allison was probably like, "Well, he can't be that much of a baller." So she, 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 million. And that was the incorrect answer. The correct answer was 35 million. So since they got that answer incorrect, the man that was hanging on top of this meat grinder is now going through the meat grinder. Now, of course, after witnessing that, they're freaking out. But Allison is freaking out a lot more than Jason. So, of course, he's doing the manly thing and he's comforting her and just helping her calm down and help them stay, keeping their eyes on the prize, which is getting up out of whatever the situation that they are in. So they go and they walk into the next room, which is a bar setting. And our friendly guy comes back on the screen and he tells them to have a drink on the house. Jason, he tries to drink first, I guess, to make sure that, it's safe to drink. But technically, alcohol is poison anyway. So, no matter what, you drink a poison, whatever. So they're using this time to get to know each other because obviously they're going to need to know each other a little bit more in order to make it out of here. So the guy comes back on the screen and he tells them that it's basically time to play another game. They're about to play high stakes karaoke. So we've seen a video of Allison's grandma with the red dot on her head, insinuating that if things don't go right, Granny is gonna have to, say night night. And then Jason, we see his brother on the couch with his baby with the same thing. We see a red dot on the head. So now with this game, they have to perform a song. And in order to save their loved one, they have to score at least 7 points. So for this game, they actually chose each other's they chose for each other to sing each other's favorite song. So for Allison, she got the song I Can Feel It Coming in the Air Tonight. And thankfully she scored 7 points, so she saved Granny. However, Jason's song was Lil Wayne, Not Love. And unfortunately, he did not know that song at all. I don't know how because that song was like, anyway, he didn't know the song, so his brother got kapowed.
Never cutting yourself, so when you get older, it seems like you came back 10 times over. You're sitting here.
So now he's very upset, obviously, and we learned that his relationship with his brother was strained. They didn't get along for many reasons, so he hasn't spoken to him in over 10 years. And, this is just a real messed up situation since he won't have a chance to reconnect with his brother. And technically, it's his fault that his brother is dead now. So after taking a moment to just, I guess, I don't know, just to compose themselves, they drank a little bit more and then they proceeded to the next room in which they found some scissors and they used those scissors to take the handcuffs off. Because remember, they were handcuffed. So they've been doing all this while handcuffed. So once they did that, the screen came back on and our best friend came on the screen to tell them that it's time for them to get ready for their first date. So they are instructed to take a shower and get dressed and get presentable as if, they are going on their very first date. And of course, they want to go home, so they follow the rules. And they are showering in the same little vicinity, but they are respectful of each other. And again, they are utilizing this time to get to know each other a little bit more. We learned that Jason, he has a fiance, and we learned that Allison, her ex, is a cheater. And yeah. And now that they're sharing this trauma and stuff together, they are actually looking like they are kind of getting into each other. Humans are interesting, like they're in a situation where like their life is in danger and they're like, they look kind of good now. Like we some funny beings. Yeah, so after they get all spruced up for dinner, they are instructed to put some cuffs back on, so they can't roam free just yet. So they do as they are told, and they go to dinner. So now the waitress come out, and she has like this like electric thing on her neck, and it's obvious that she is at risk. Her life is at risk right now. So basically, for this next game, they have to finish each meal in the time allotted in order to save the waitress. So the first time around, like for the appetizer, I believe it was, they only had 60 seconds, but it was one plate and they shared it, so they handled that no problem. But then the entree came out and they had some hearty plates. Like homie's plate, Jason, he had like a thick ass steak with like a mountain of mashed potatoes. That plate did look good. And homegirl, her plate looked good as well. And if they probably had like 5 minutes, they probably could have done it. But they only had a minute and 30 seconds. And unfortunately, they could not finish that meal in a minute and 30 seconds. So Jason, I don't know, thought he was going to save the day. So once he realized that they weren't going to finish, and then he checked the time and realized there wasn't much time left. And then the waitress came in, so the door was open. So he was like, let me take this opportunity and we can get the fuck up out of here. But they ran for the door. Of course, the door closed before they got there. And once they made it to the door, the waitress, she got electrocuted, got shocked to death, I guess, is what happened because she ended up laid out on the floor. Jason went to check her pulse. He declared that she was no longer alive. And now they're kind of like upset, frustrated. They're just feeling a whole mix of emotions right now. So now they go into the other room. Like I said, the creators of this film didn't waste any time. So if you like me and like for the films to just get right into it, this is a good one. So Jason and Allison, they go into the next room, and this room is like a movie theater seating. So of course they sit down, they watch the movie theater or they watch the screen or whatever. And of course our good friend comes up and he says some shit, and then he was like telling them to enjoy the show. And then the screen changes and it's Jason's fiance, and she's hanging upside down and she's like crying and stuff, and she's basically like obviously forced to say all these things, and she's saying how she never loved him, and then she was saying how like no one loves a cheater, and then she also said that she cheated and also that she never loved him. And yeah, then some guy comes in and literally her throat. So that was crazy. And then he like goes behind her, and then you just see him cutting something, but we can't see it because in the video you only see her from like the waist down. Again, she was hanging upside down. So you see him cutting something, and then you see him going to the kitchen. Then you see him cooking that something. And then you see him putting that something on that plate that they just ate for this last game. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is twisted. But before they could leave the theater, the guy comes back on the screen and tells them, like, basically, in order to find real love, like, you guys gonna have to bury your baggage. It's time for you to bury your baggage. And this is a twisted game we're obviously playing now. So this man, he means that literally. Jason and Allison, they go into the next room. Who do we see here? We see Allison's ex. He's alive, but he's tied to the chair, and of course, no one knows what's going on. He's freaking out when he sees them, and he's, I guess, asking for help. And she's freaking out too, and she's wanting to help. So the first thing she does is remove the tape. He had like duct tape over his mouth. As soon as she does that, foam just starts coming out his mouth, and he starts like shaking. Looks like he's having some sort of seizure, and again, just foaming at the mouth. And he's shaking until he's no longer shaking. So I feel like it was safe to assume that this guy is no longer existing. And that leads us to the next task, which isn't a game, I guess, in this round. And that's what the guy said, and that's burying your baggage. So they brought the ex fiance and put her in a hole, and then they got homie who was just foaming and put him in a hole. And now, what Jason and Allison needed to do was to cover these two bodies in dirt. Like, this whole time, I'm like, how the hell is this going to end? Like, what is going on? So they follow this little wicked maze, and it leads them back to the very first room that they started in. This is probably the quickest review that I ever done because they got right to it. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, Allison and Jason, they got right back to the first room. This time it was a little bit more decorated. Yeah, and this task game was literally for them to have sex. Like, this was really interesting. So Allison, she was okay with it. Shout out to Jason for making sure she was okay with it instead of just trying to force her to do it, in hopes that that would lead them home. But at this time, they endured so much trauma. They got through so much trauma together, which I guess we could label a trauma bond. So I say all that to say, at this moment, there was some closeness between them. So they both were pretty comfortable enough to do it. And so they do it. And then, like, before they could finish doing it, like, a whole bunch of smoke comes in the room, and then the screen turns black. And then we have a repeat. Allison wakes up and she's puking, but this time there are no handcuffs. But of course, she's freaking out. She's looking around the room and she sees Jason laying next to her. And so she starts freaking out right away. But this time, Jason, he's not freaking out. And he's like, yo, this is my bedroom. This is my apartment. Like, this is my home. She's like, what? And, he a millionaire. He got 35, he worked 35 mil. So he like press a button, and then like the entire wall just like goes up, and it's just glass, and we just see this beautiful ass view. So now they're happy to not be in there anymore. But then the guy that was on the TV at Soulmates, he's not done with them yet. He comes on the screen and he basically lets them know that, you guys are soulmates and you're supposed to be together. We're going to keep an eye on you to make sure you stay together. And he's also was like, yeah, I want you to tell the police actually. If you want, I could call my homie Fred, who's the lieutenant down there by your crib, and you can talk to him if you want. Basically saying, call the police if you want to. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Like, so we know that that is out of that's not an option anymore. So now we go 8 months into the future, and these lovebirds, not only have they been dating these past 8 months, but they are now engaged to be wed. So they are in love and they look very, very happy. I'm pretty sure he takes care of her with all that money that he has, so she probably don't have to worry about much. And thankfully, he do have all that money because I'm pretty sure it took a lot of like healing therapy or something for them to kind of get through what they just endured with soulmates. So they're like planning for a trip at this time. And Allison, she's just like an overachiever and she's just like getting ready like 2 weeks before the trip. So she's like looking for suitcase and things like that. She ends up in like, I think it was a garage area, and she got like this little bucket thing out looking for something. She ends up finding a box. And this box was very similar to the soulmates box from, what had happened from where she had met Jason. So she opens it and she sees some cuffs. She also sees a fucking little business card with soulmates on it. She flips it over. On the back of that card, it says, Jason, thank you for trusting us and helping you find your soulmate. So she was right all along. See, women, here's a lesson right here.
Message.
Never doubt your intuition. When that gut is telling you something, never doubt it. Men, this could apply to you too. But women, when that gut is telling you something, don't let your experience prove you wrong. Okay? Let that gut prove you right. When you feel it, trust it. Allison went through it, so we ain't got to. Okay? So, yeah. Jason hired soulmates in order to find the love of his life, right? Okay, we're not even gonna get into that yet because there's some more shit that happens. So Allison, she finds this card, and of course she's freaking out, but she got to keep it cute because now she don't know like what she's dealing with. Because if this man, one, he has all this money, his connection, so he can basically do whatever he want. And then two, if he went through these lengths to find the love of his life, ain't no, he probably ain't all the way there. So she got to be a little bit smart about it. So she tries to put everything back together. She put the bucket up, and by the time she put the bucket up, Jason comes around the corner and she's like, "Hey, babe," and she's keeping it cool, like like when's dinner gonna be ready or something like that. She walks away, but he senses something is wrong, and he finds I don't even know what he picked up. It was so tiny. He picked something up off the ground, but whatever he picked up made him put two and two together and was like, "Oh, she knows." So he didn't waste any time. He went back into the living room where she was sitting and he low key confessed. And he's like, it's not what you think it is, which I don't know how else it could be, but he's like, it's not what you think it is. Earlier in the film, he was saying how it's tough for him to meet people and to date because he got so much money and he's awkward, blah, 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 blah. So that's the reason why he was going through a dating service. So he tried even dating apps in the past, and even that failed him. But he found this dating service, Soulmates, and it boasts about a 100% success rate. So he's like, why not? Like, I could find the love of my life and it's a guarantee. And he's like, yo, I seen your photo in the lineup and I chose you. I chose you, Lou. What more do you want? So yeah, of course she's like, what? Feeling like a fucking object. And he just kept going on and on. And she was just kind of fucked up about just all these people that she witnessed dying in that little wicked game that they were playing. And he's like, oh, no, those are all actors. Like, nobody died. Like the meat grinder dude, like he didn't go in the meat grinder, he went behind it. Like the lady, you remember I checked her pulse. It was a pulse there. I was lying. So that means he was trying to get out. Like that was a whole little setup too. So that he's an actor too, apparently. So uh, basically, what the soulmate service does is they take parts of your life and warp it into this sick, twisted game to basically help this person fall in love with through and fall in love with you by experiencing trauma with you. So it like accelerates that, I guess, love, and you skip all that and just fall right into love. And I guess it could have worked if she didn't find this soulmates thing. But she's like, no, my ex was there. I seen him. We buried him in the ground. Like, what you talking about? He is like, you'd be surprised what 350,000 will make somebody do. So once he said that, I was like, all right, soulmates come holler at me in my email, talk about somebody I dealt with. It's signed up for this service and they pay me 350 to act. Absolutely. I will I will actually not volunteer for free, but I volunteer to work as an actor. So you can pay me and we can do this for others. I'll be a waiter in the next one. Let's make this a little working relationship. So I understand homies why homie would do it. And this is where I'm like, okay, how's this going to end? Because now we got like 10, 15, 20 minutes left of this. So this whole film is them going through this whole soulmates little Saw game thing. And then we got like 10, 15 minutes of like what the fuck is really going on. Allison, She didn't give a fuck. She wasn't going for it. See, me personally, I feel like I would have played along a little bit just to figure out like what I'm going to do. Just because, again, he's so well connected and he's crazy now that we know this now that he's unhinged. And so, but she didn't care. And I understand too, because this is a lot of information at one time. And it's not like this shit happened years ago. This was only 8 months ago. So they didn't even make it to a year after this happening before she even found out. So I get it. So I say all that to say she definitely started freaking out. And now we see his true colors. And he kind of reminds her, like, bitch, I'm worth 35 million. The police is my bestie. I can kill you right now and nothing will happen. Basically, all that would happen is that this would just be an expensive fuck. Verbatim, that expensive fuck part. That was him saying that. And I'm just like, damn, I thought you loved her. I thought you loved her. Like, is it the love you want or is it the control? Because he controlled every aspect of it. Okay.
You, you're a fucking nut job. That's no way to talk to your soulmate. Stay away from me. We both know you're not gonna throw that.
So basically, he ended up using those same cuffs from the little soulmates that was in the box that she found and cuffed her to the table. So he's like walking around basically saying, hey, like, just give in. Like, just love me back. We could be a happy family. Like, why are you tripping so hard? Like, I didn't do nothing too crazy. Like, so while he's going on talking and shit, she ends up breaking, I guess, free from the table and she goes out to the back. And they, of course, have a pool. Duh. So she's in the back or whatever, and he goes to find her. At this point, it's pretty obvious that his intentions are to kill her because it's obvious that she do not want to partake in whatever the F he got going on right now. She don't even want to act like it. She's not playing along. She's not an actor. Basically, he goes out and he's looking for her and she catches him and she got the cuffs and she put it around his neck and she's like choking him, choking him, choking him. And then they fall into the pool. And I'm scared for my girl's life because I just know that, if he breaks free, it's over for her and he gonna get away with it. But never doubt an angry woman, angry black woman, dare I say. And yeah, she choked the motherfucker out and he ended up dying in the pool. And so we see her getting out the pool and we see him floating in a pool. Like, I know that's right, girl. So after all that happened, I think it's like the next day because we have light out and I'm assuming she didn't call the police or anything. I don't know what happened with between like Jason's body and like the police and all of this. Maybe they just swept it all under the rug because of everything that's just been going on. Because once you expose one thing, you're gonna have to expose all of this. We see what's going on with Diddy, and that thing ain't done unraveling yet. But she ends up calling a dude from Soulmates. I do not remember this guy's name. I didn't write it down in my notes or anything. Like, but she ends up calling his phone and he already knew who it was. He was just like, "Hi, Allison." And he started doing that nasty laugh that he's been doing throughout the entire film. And it ends there. Like, I would love see, I know we're not always supposed to get like a part 2, but like a part of me needs to know what's going on with Allison. I need to know that she gotten away with that, you know? I need to know that she's figured out a way to collect most, if not all, of Jason's money. I just need to make sure that my good sister is good, you know? But let's get into the lessons. Okay. So I did share a lesson earlier, and for this one, just because it's a lot of torture and stuff. So a lot of the shit that you did to get out and to stay alive is, high key, not by choice. So I say all that to say that I only have one additional lesson to add to the mix. And that to me is pretty obvious. You can't buy love. Yes, having money and having things in this earthly world will attract people to you. But like we said with Jason, it's going to be hard finding authentic people the more you have. So you do have to work a little bit harder in order to find that genuine love. But if you work hard to get that money, it makes sense to work hard to get the love. Like, why are you being lazy when it comes to love, but you ain't lazy when it comes to like the career and stuff? You know what I'm saying? And so the love it will feel good for a while. Like, it will feel genuine and like the real thing until whatever it is that you do for them or that makes them hold on to you runs out or is no longer working. And then At that point, you can't hide the fact that you actually don't like this person that you committed your life to. Um, so yeah, the goal is, if you want actual loving relationship that you can't purchase it, having money definitely makes it a lot easier to find it, but you can't use your power and control to control other people's life and make them do what you want to benefit you, regardless of how much you have, you know? And that's very unfortunate, but I'm actually grateful that that is not possible. I am grateful that someone can't be that powerful. It's always going to be someone who has just a little mustard seed of integrity that will stand up against something where money isn't enough to dictate their actions. So, yeah, moral of the story, money can't buy love, but being a real motherfucker could possibly get you love. I don't know. We in a crazy world right now when it comes to this dating shit. But I know for a fact that money is not going to get you genuine love. It's going to get you that faux love, the stuff that's going to, like the yes man, the things that's going to make you feel temporarily good, but it's not going to be that genuine love that you desire or need when you truly actually need it. Like when your life is at stake and you're about to die and all you need is a fucking hug and kiss, you're not going to get it unless you probably pay like $1 million or something for it. But I'm on right now because I'm feeling good. I've been like out of office, just on bed rest for the past week. So I'm finally feeling alive again. And I swear to God, I'm not going to take it for granted anymore. I appreciate y'all patience. I know this podcast episode was supposed to have came out yesterday, but like I said, I am recovering. But I was like, I'm a woman of my word. I got to get this podcast episode out this weekend, today. But if you made it this far, that means you kind of fuck with me. So I feel like you should go ahead, subscribe, like this podcast episode, share this episode with a friend. Next podcast, we are going to be diving into Cinnamon. To watch Cinnamon is available on Tubi for free. As always, I do appreciate y'all, and I'm going to see y'all next week.